Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Setchawayo, a.k.a. Coach Bird, and I'm the host of the BYRDCAGE show. Cousin Tracy?
What?
We are back at it, episode 68. You know what I'm saying? Knocking these things out once again. You know what I'm saying?
But before you intro, we
Okay.
need to just apologize because we didn't have an episode last week. I know y'all missed us.
Yes, we're back.
But we back.
We're
technical
back.
difficulties.
Life happens sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Little technical difficulties.
You know what I'm saying?
In true fashion.
True indeed.
We
true
navigated
indeed.
through
You know
life's
what I'm saying?
challenges.
That's it. That's
and
what we
back.
do. We do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? We definitely do it all the time. And I just want to shout out, that's a good point. I just want to shout out all the viewers out there, you know what I'm saying, that take a little bit of time out your day to hear what me and my cousin Tracy have to say and listen to our esteemed guests that hop on the couch and share their stories and their knowledge and things of that nature. So thank you. Make sure you like,
subscribe,
and definitely comment. You know what I'm
get the
saying?
notifications.
Yes, please. And tell a friend. So that friend can tell a friend. So that friend can tell a friend. And then, you know, let them know.
Everybody be watching us.
There we go.
That's the key.
There we go. That's the key.
For us to spread this
That's all.
worldwide.
That's all. Positivity. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? That's all it is. Today, if you don't already know who's sitting on this couch, you know what I'm saying? I know every time I hop on social media somewhere, I'm seeing God heal my city. You know what I'm saying? I listen to my man's testimonials when he be dropping them and whatnot, dropping some gems. You know what? Listen, I don't know who need to hear this morning, but God want me to tell somebody that whatever you believe that you're stuck in, He want me to tell you that you're not stuck, you're staying. And the reason that you're staying, because you have an opportunity to let it go every day. You're not stuck, you're staying. God always make a way of escape. You just gotta walk in the very path that God designed for your life. God will make a way of escape, just like He did for Isaac and Abraham, just like He did for the people of Israel, and just like He doing for you right now. Take that way of escape. You're not stuck. You're staying in that situation. Be blessed. You know what? And you know, Camden guy, you know what I mean? And we're going to get all into that and whatnot. And, you know, it's our pleasure and thank you. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Pulliam, Mr. HASSAN Pulliam, Haas, minister, you know what I'm saying? He got a whole bunch of
titles.
Whole bunch of titles, my man. My man stays busy, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to get all into that. But first of all, why don't you just say what's up to the people for us real quick?
How you doing? My name's HASSAN Pulliam. Most people call me Haas. What's up? Love all y'all.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That is definitely what's up. And we just wanted to bring him on, just like we said when we were talking about, you know, how we have our guests on, just to let him, you know what I'm saying, hop on the platform, tell us a little bit about himself, share his story, you know what I'm saying. We're going to
What
talk
he's
about,
doing now.
you know what I'm saying, God heal my city and all that good stuff. We're just going to get in his business. And learn some things, you know what I'm saying? Learn some things.
Yeah,
you
know,
about my good
usually
brother.
on the couch, there's some things that I know sometimes about people, little backdoor stuff that Cousin Sedge don't know. So we learn a lot of things here on the couch.
Yes, we
a
do.
lot of things.
Yes, we do. So we're going to hop right into it. Haas, why don't you just tell our viewers a little bit about yourself for those that don't know you?
My name is HASSAN Pulliam. Well, my real name is Dwight HASSAN Pulliam Sr. I have a son that's a junior. I'm from the Centerville Projects, the Centerville section in Camden. Right now, or for a long time, I've been serving my community. I'm a minister in my community, and my main goal is to spread love and plant seeds of love everywhere I go.
That was a gem. Early. Bang. Dropped it.
Planting seeds.
Early.
And it's our job as the elders from our community, because we're considered elders now, to water the seeds so those plants can grow. And this is a watering process.
Back to back drill gems. I ain't got nothing to say after that.
It's
you know
just a watering process.
Yes, definitely. So, from Centerville, you know what I'm saying? Let's just talk a little bit about that. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of people hear things about Camden and what's going on in Camden and are so intrigued at what's going on in Camden. So let's just talk about you coming up in the city, when you were coming up in the city of Camden, what that looked like.
And in
you know
the projects, what was considered the projects back then, because now they're townhomes.
Right. Facts.
I'm not from that new Centerville.
Right.
I'm from the old city. Well, Centerville Projects to me, it was one of the greatest hoods back then to me, because we was really a village. We was really a family. we really had that grandmom in the window watching all the kids. You know, no matter where you go, I can go to your house to get sugar. You can come to my house to get ketchup. Like, we was really built as a family in the projects. On the other hand, you know, drugs, murders, guns, violence, all that stuff played a part. But, you know, I had a good mom who had a center on 8th and Central. And growing up, my whole life, she fed breakfast and lunch to the community. And on top of just feeding breakfast and lunch, her doors was open to anybody and everybody. And she would clothe you. She would do anything. She would sell dinners, have a card game, and work just to make sure the kids in her community had something. So, and that's what family's all about.
Say her name.
Yes.
Yeah, Cookie Pulliam.
Yes,
Big
indeed.
Cook.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out
Say
to
your
Cook.
name,
You know what I'm
Miss
saying?
Cookie,
Got
Miss
to. Yes,
Cookie.
indeed.
Yeah.
Definitely. She was definitely.
Anybody that's from Centerville,
you know what I'm saying?
anybody's
Come
from
on.
the city,
Come
you know
on.
Miss Cookie.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
Miss Cookie.
If you don't, we got to check and make sure you're from Centerville. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if
Check
you
your
don't know
card.
But she rep North Carolina.
that's definitely what's up. Now, you know, and we'll get more in detailed with it, but I know that you definitely have a need to help our youth out. You know what I'm saying? You have a calling to want to help our youth steer through these obstacles that they face now. You know what I'm saying? Because even though, I mean, some of the obstacles are the same. You know what I'm saying? Some are definitely different. But at the same time, they still need guidance just to, you know, hopefully they won't make some of the same mistakes we've made coming up. You know what I'm saying? How important in what you do and just to you is mentorship. You know what I'm saying? We talk a lot on the show about being mentors and mentorship.
Because
and
we
things like that.
firmly believe that mentoring, whether it's just one-on-one mentoring or coaching or just, you know, showing up, we believe that it's valuable to our youth. And I think it makes a difference. I believe it makes a difference. So we just, how do you feel about mentoring and you getting involved with young people?
Well, just to top it off, I was 11 years old when my dad got killed. And, you know, you develop anger issues. You develop so many different anxieties and things that plague your life. But me finding God at an early age, I looked to as a dad was my Pastor Wade's on Bethel AME Church in Centerville. It was off of Phillip Street. Even though the church was an older crowd, even at the age of 10, 11, 12 years old, I was going to church by myself, and that's what actually shaped me, even as a young man, and that's what caused me to be separated from my cousins, my friends who was running around Centerville. You know, we all were bad, but there was a different level of bad, you know, because I was the one that get smacked if I did the same thing they did, whereas though that corrected me early, and with having a strong mother, I believe that's what saved my life the most. Having a strong mother. You know, we can have mentors outside the home, but love starts inside of the home. Charity starts inside of the home. And we talk about mentorship. The Bible tells us to train up a child in the way they should go. For when they are old, they won't depart from it. So whatever you put inside of a child, that's what's going to come out of them. And at an early age, when somebody plant the seed of love, when somebody plant the seed of strength and being an overcomer, or telling you that you're more than a conqueror, when you grow old, that same seed that's in you is the same seed that'll save you.
So, as you see, we're going to get a little deep. We're going to take, and it ain't even coming from me this week. Just know it's not coming
You know
from
what I'm
me.
saying? But they need to hear it.
It's needed.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
needed.
It's
It's
definitely
needed.
needed. You know what I'm saying?
Especially for our
And
young people.
Definitely.
And our parents
Definitely.
you know, that are kind of trying to figure out their way. Because, you know, life is life, right? Things happen.
True. Definitely. Now, when did you, for those that don't know, my man works at KIPP Academy, right? What's your role there first? Let's start
I'm
there.
a student support advocate.
Okay. Now, what's that entitled, like, for somebody that might not know?
A
Like,
student support advocate is also known as a behaviorist.
okay.
One that, you know, helps the students along the way, whether they're having those problems inside of the school or inside of the classroom. You're one to step in to pull them away from the issue and then redirect them and then get them back on task and then put them back into the environment they need to be in.
Gotcha.
Wait, hold on. Before we go into the KIPP thing, let's rewind just a little bit. Where'd you go to school at?
I went to
Growing
Sumner in Centerville, Morgan Village, and then I went to Camden High School.
Okay, you graduated from Camden High.
Graduated from Camden High and went to Marshall University.
What year you come out of Canada?
03.
Oh, three. Okay. Some more purple and gold. We keep purple and gold in the building.
It's not our fault, and it's not intentional.
We keep it
just
in the
know
building.
it's not intentional. It's just
It
purple
happens.
and gold.
Yeah,
Is a little
that
strong,
energy,
yeah,
just
the
you know what I'm
energy,
saying?
yeah.
You can't help it.
Panther,
Now,
Panther pride.
yeah, exactly, all day. When you came out of Marshall, what did you do first? Like, what did you do then? Like, when you got done with Marshall?
I didn't get it to finish at Marshall.
Okay.
I ended up coming home, going to Rutgers University.
Okay.
But at that time, it was approximately around 2005, 2006. At this time, I really was giving my life to God. When I got to Marshall, I was there for 2 years, and I didn't have family. I didn't have really nothing when I was in Marshall. But God showed up there. He actually taught me what love really was. Like, I talked about my mom and how great of a woman she was, and she gave us love but never verbally said it.
Okay.
And when I got to Marshall, meeting all these different people and God showing up and actually teaching me what love truly was.
Right.
Because even though it was, given, it was never said.
Okay.
And when I got to Marshall, that's when God revealed, I'm going to use you to take it home and plant that seed, and it's going to go throughout your family.
So, and we're going to skip around here a little bit. So, is that was the calling then, that you knew that we were going to become what you're becoming right now? Was
that when you had your
else,
yeah?
or,
Was
you know
that
what I'm
when
saying?
you heard God call you? Now, the only reason why I say that is because I have another friend who's a pastor of a mega church. I think it's a mega church in Canton, Michigan. Shout out to Pastor Washington. We went to college together. He was a ball player. He said that God had been calling him all through college. Like, he could hear God speaking to him, but he just wasn't listening. So then finally, he becomes an adult, graduates, has a family, and then he hears God. So my question for you is that's when God started to whisper in your ear, like it's time, like it's about.
I truly believe that God was calling me around 11, 12, and 13.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because my dad was Muslim and my mom didn't go to church. So when I was going to church at the time, at around those teenage years, I was taking people to church then. But the only thing that separated me from being a grown man in God and being a child in God, I didn't know the word of God. I just thought, going to church, I was going to heaven.
Right.
But it's way more than just going to church.
Right.
And again, it was an older crowd, so hymns and all of those things will put a young kid to sleep if they're not, there with something that can get their attention. So I didn't know the word. I was just going to church because I thought it was the right thing to do. When I got to college, I was telling people about God.
Right.
But I was still drinking. I was still smoking. I was still going to the club. I was doing all these things. So it wasn't that I was living it. It just, I knew of him, but I didn't know how to live with him. So the friends that I started talking about God, like my friends from Africa, my friends from Seattle, Chicago, and Atlanta, they start going to church every week.
Okay.
But I'm in the club every week, every day. Because clubs was only $2 when I was going to the club in West Virginia.
Right.
And they were going to church every single day. And one day on my way to the club, they were praying in the parking lot. And I had told my friend from Ohio, I said, yo, you can go ahead. I'm going over here with them.
Right.
And I was just being nosy, but lo and behold, they started praying over me. And that was the very, very first time where I felt the presence of God. And nobody can tell me that God ain't real. Like, I felt the presence so heavy that I was like, God, if it's you, you gonna have to show me. Because I couldn't just, fall out because somebody touched my hand, all those shenanigans that people see on different platforms. But I knew it was God, and I knew for a fact that God was real at that point in my life.
That's what's up. Now, before, or I should say after that point, what was your profession before?
Well, I was still in college, so I came home, went to Rutgers. I was playing basketball for Rutgers, and everything happened fast.
Okay.
I gave my life 100% in 05. I married my wife in 06 because I told God the next woman you give me is the woman I'm going to marry. And I'm at Rutgers, so I come home, you got all your family issues. I'm an honor student. I'm playing basketball. I'm married now. I have kids. And it's like all the weight was on my shoulder. And I told my coach, I'm like, listen, I'm a full time in everything. I need one day off. Just give me Sunday off,
Right.
and so I can go to church.
Right.
And he, Coach Brian was like, he told me no, and I quit Rutgers basketball team, and I just went into
You went in there.
church
Okay.
heavy, and I started ministering then, without ordination or any type of pastor saying none of this. I was just doing it because the word was in me, and I was just going to school. And while I was going to school, I ended up getting a letter from, NJDOC, Department of Corrections, and I ended up dropping out and going to boot camp.
Okay.
And I graduated from NJDOC, started working in the prison, and that was my profession from here.
Now, how long was you there?
Approximately three and a half years,
Okay.
or something like that.
Okay.
And I left and became a Canton County Sheriff.
Okay. And how long did you do that?
More than 5 years at that
Okay.
time.
Okay.
More than 5 years, and I left in 2019, and I started doing God in my city full time.
Got you. Now, what was that transition like? You know what I'm saying? Going from, correctional officer, sheriff, to now, working in schools and doing your own thing, you know what I'm saying, with God Heal My City and all that. Was it a big transaction, or the calling was so great, like no transition, I should say, because this is what I'm supposed to be doing, so I'm in it 100% now.
So before I left, I was already involved
Okay.
in the God Heal My City movement. Before it was God Heal My City, it was God Heal Camden.
Yes, I remember that.
Because I always used to teach people, like, we survived Camden. I used to say it all the
Right.
time, we survived Camden. And at one point, that was my Facebook name, we survived Camden. So when I created God Heal Camden, I had lost 2 of my cousins. And from them losing them to the streets, that's where birth God Heal Camden.
Got you. Now, not only do you do that at KIP, I know you do a little bit of coaching. We talked about that. Let them folks know what you coaching over there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a man after my own heart.
So this year, I coach baseball, basketball, and football at KIP.
See, I'm not the only one. She always gets on me because I coach all year round and I can't fly to friendly skies with her. You know what I'm saying? I'm told I'm going to get there one day, though. I'm going to make some time. But you know what I'm saying? But how's that? How you enjoy the whole coaching thing? I mean, you play ball in college and all that. So
football, baseball was a little different because I didn't play since I was young. I didn't
Right.
go to like high school and college to play
Right.
baseball, but I did play football and basketball in high school and college. To me, it's like giving back. It's the same. My whole ministry is to give back to our kids. So if I can be the coach that can uplift them, inspire them, through what I say, even though we're teaching them how to play basketball and play football, that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
My whole thing is to save their life.
got you. We definitely need more of that.
But
You know
my
what I'm saying?
thing is, a lot of times
Definitely
with
more
all
of
of
that.
us, when we walk in our purpose, and we really grasp what our purpose is, and we say that we're trying to save lives, but while we're saving those lives, we're actually saving ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? And I know for me, who's purpose driven, I put a lot into my community and my kids. But just as I'm pouring into them, even though sometimes I'm pouring out of myself, it works both ways. So you say you're saving them, but sometimes you're saving yourself.
That's how healing works.
Yeah.
When you praying for somebody else,
In
sometimes
turn,
you
blessings
get a
come.
double
Yeah.
portion.
Yep.
Because it's the faith. It's the faith that moves things. So when you have enough faith for somebody else, that same faith is activating something in you.
Right. I posted on Instagram, I think it was yesterday, that when you're good to people, God will always be good to you. You know what I mean? And it's just, I say it all the time, when you're a blessing to others, you too shall be blessed. So my thing is, like, we always talk about mentoring, and we don't mentor, and let's be clear about this. We don't mentor with the full purpose of, I want something in return.
Right.
We mentor because we want to pour into these young people. We want to see them succeed. We want to see them strive. But at the same time, I'm pouring into these kids is doing something for my spirit and my soul as well.
Yeah.
So let's be clear. That's,
Right, and that's the difference between a hireling and a shepherd. A shepherd is somebody that tends to the sheep, somebody that protects the sheep. So even when the wolf comes, you're on the front line for the sheep. A hireling, one that mentored for gain, it really doesn't feed the sheep when it need to be fed, and when the wolves come, they out the door.
Right.
So it's a difference. When you got your heart in it, then you getting something from it.
Right.
The Bible said that it's more blessed to give than to receive. If I'm always feeding the homeless, right, that means I always have. But if I am the homeless, that means if somebody decides to cut off my blessing, I would no longer have. So it's definitely more blessed to give than to receive. It's always more blessed to have what God give you to pour into others.
Definitely.
A word today.
Definitely. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, just, you know what I'm saying, I've been doing this teaching and coaching thing for forever, seems like. But that's why I'm still doing it, because I love it. But
Year
it's just
29.
Year 29, you know what I'm saying? Year 29, you know what I mean? But just like you were saying, like, when I see my students that I had, when I see my former athletes that I had all growing up, you always tell the story about the young lady that played basketball for you. But when you see them and they're productive young men and women, they got families of their own, and they come up to you like, yo, what's up, Coach Bird? Coach, I remember when you always told me to do this, and then I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now, and things like that. That's live, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like
It
on the
hits you
inside,
different,
like,
touch you
yeah,
different, touch you
yeah,
different.
like, oh man, I
Touch you
didn't
different.
think you were listening. You know what I'm saying? But
Whether
that's
good or
just
bad.
right,
So
right.
In any situation,
Right.
it can change. I remember a situation where when I was an officer and everybody was out and the guy was being combative, he wanted to fight everybody. I get out of the car, he turned around and cuff up. Because he know who I am,
Right.
and he knows what I stand for.
Right.
He knows that I'm going to protect the people, I'm going to serve the people, and it's never going to be funny business.
Right.
So you knowing that kid, again, me being a behaviorist at the Insight program that's in Virtua, the kid had an issue at the school. Dad come up there, and guess who the dad? The kid that I had in that program.
Wow. Look at
And
that.
he remembered me.
Right.
And that's what changes the whole situation.
Gotcha.
Because he could have came up there with some rah-rah
Right,
stuff
right. Facts.
to combat whatever the child
Right.
told him.
Mm-hmm.
But because he saw a friendly face, all of that changed.
that
So he
just
know,
threw
nah,
Right.
I know he's not going to do you
It's
wrong.
not.
So I know you did something.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
your story's a little tainted.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
now the story switched.
Right,
Speaking of
definitely.
that, I'm currently reading. I'm going to go off topic real quick. I'm currently reading a book by Brene Brown. It's called Atlas of the Heart, and the book is about the 87 emotions and how you can actually your outcomes in life is different when you approach your emotions differently. Like
Facts.
like my last night, I read the chapter about disappointment and regrets. And they say when people say no regrets, that's bad because you want to have regrets, because in the regrets you've learned. You learned a lesson. And if you live a life saying I don't have no regrets, that means you ain't learned no lesson.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're not you're not in a position to learn.
Right.
So it's really cool. So I'm gonna repeat that again, just for all of those out there that may want to
Check
talk
that
about
out.
emotion. Now, the reason why I brought that up, because he was saying we teach kids about fighting. We don't teach kids to love. We don't teach. All of us are not versed in all our emotions. We only deal with maybe 30 out of the 87.
Right.
You know, anger, love, hate. Like we deal with those, disappointment, but we don't deal with the other ones like awe, wonder, confusion. All you know what I mean? So my thing is, it's called Brene Brown, and it's called Atlas of the Heart. So for all our readers out there, look into
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna check that out.
It'll help you grow. It's a map. It says mapping to new human experiences or something. Once you learn the emotions, I think that's what it's about.
Love covers a multitude of faults. And I always try to teach people about the difference in love. Knowing you can be just a friendship type of love. But if I do you wrong, you might want to hurt me. That's a conditional love.
Right.
Being with my wife, you got to have all three. I have to be her friend. I have to be intimate. And then I have to love her in spite of what she do. So agape love is an unconditional type of love. A love that a mother or father should have for their child. No matter what that child do, I'm going to love them in spite of. And that's the same love that God has for us. So if we're not teaching our kids about unconditional love, then what are we truly teaching them? If you can turn your love on, then it's not unconditional. And light and darkness can't dwell in the same place. It's either going to be light or dark. If you cut these lights out, darkness is going to take over. And that's the same with your heart. Because if you're not feeding yourself life, then you got to be feeding yourself death.
Definitely. Wow, we just dropping them all. Yes, I hope y'all are listening. That's all. Please, you know what I'm saying? When this comes out, you know what I'm saying, on Monday, rewind, watch it a couple times so you can catch everything, because this is powerful.
So,
right here.
are you an ordained minister, or you're in the process? You are an ordained minister.
Yes.
And where do you preach anywhere, or just? Do you have a home church? Is what I'm saying.
I go to Keys to Life Ministry Healthy Church. It's in Montefiore, New Jersey, 74 East Kings Highway, in Montefiore. But I consider myself and what I do a church without walls. You know, because the people that I'm trying to save is not inside the church.
That part.
Yeah, that's big.
That's major. That's real.
Big.
Like the
Big.
people we all trying to touch ain't never in the church.
Yeah, that's big.
Right.
Most of the people that we're trying to touch or teach, a lot of times ain't in the school.
Right.
But the thing is this: the church is in me. It's not in
Right.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
if I see you in Walmart, we're gonna have if you know me or we having a discussion, after a while we're going to talk about God somehow. And I don't gotta say Jesus, I don't gotta say God, but I can give you love. And love is God is love.
Right.
1 John 4:16 says God is love. And if you don't have God inside of you, how can you love me? And like I told somebody I love them the other day, and they was like, I don't love you.
But you know, it's crazy because you know it's crazy for culturally. If you tell a random person you love them, and or say I'll pray for you, woo! It is like cutting them with a knife. If you randomly say to people, yo, I love you. What? You don't even know me. How you gonna love? And then God forbid if you say, I'll keep you in prayers. You mean you praying for me?
That's crazy.
But that's culturally, that's where we are. That's what we
definitely got to change that.
I said to the person, I said, you know, what is the opposite of love? What you gonna say?
Hate.
The opposite of hate.
Love.
You know, how can you hate somebody if you didn't love them first?
How can you hate somebody that you don't know?
Right. The same way I'm saying, like,
Right.
But that's the thing. That's like a question you can't answer.
Right.
You can't really hate nobody
Right.
without
Loving them first.
Because there's no in between. People think it's an in between love and hate. No, there's no in between. You just have a level of love and you don't understand it.
Right. Just there, the understanding is not there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this
Just
is
know,
powerful.
just know that such is taking all of this in.
Am I?
Just know such may call you in the middle of the week, ask for a little eye prayer. Just accommodate my cousin because right now he's trying to figure some stuff out. I just need all of us to cover him from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. Just, so I'm laughing, but I'm serious. Because if he call you, HASSAN, answer his phone. I'm telling you. Because look at his face. He like, wow.
And that's what love does, though. Love brings forth change. No matter where you at.
Right.
No matter, like, you know how we learn as officers, wherever an officer goes, there's a gun there. Wherever you take love, love is there. Wherever you go, God is there. And you may not go to church, so I got to have God on display at all times. And if I'm not operating for God, then you don't see God at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we have to do as a people. And I'm not perfect at all.
Right.
But there comes a time where I get back in line with God. And then I start to do what I do to encourage others. You might be broken, but you got to learn to survive on broken pieces. And that's what all of us.
But it's crazy because that was a term that I used during my healing phase, 2016 to like 2019. I used to always say, I'm just trying to find peace in these broken pieces.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just trying to find peace amongst all these broken pieces, right? So with that, you know, he'll tell you, I went right back into church. I went right back into, because listen, I know one thing for sure and two for certain. One person ain't never failed me, ain't never told me a lie, Ain't never turned his back on me. Ain't never not showed up. Listen, and that was God. And anybody tell you, I tell them. And they tease me all the time because when stuff happen, I be like, look at God. And they like, you are. Listen, he moving. This is what he do. Like look at God. Like listen, it always is him. It's always about him. So, and it's funny because now we on the church thing. People always say, like, I didn't know you had a relationship with God. Why would you know about my relationship with God? That's my relationship with God.
Right.
My walk, that's my walk.
Right.
That's my stride. That's my relationship. That's me. Why would you know about? I didn't know you had a.
Because they expect you to be religious. Religious people think that God needs them. A person with relationship understand that we need God.
Absolutely.
So when they don't understand that you have a prayer life, when they don't understand that, it's because they're not in the presence of God enough. Because if I'm in the presence of God enough, I can feel when I can feel it.
Yeah, right.
It's a different type of connection that you have with certain people, and you be like, yo, somebody in here praying about something. Like something's going on. Like God ain't gonna keep, nudging me like, look, pray for his back, pray for his back. Why am I thinking that?
Right.
I don't know, your back hurts.
Right.
But that's what God does.
Right.
And that's how God activates. People ain't gonna know. They just gonna see a change. Why is she being blessed? She told you it was God last time.
Right. She
You
said
ain't hear
it
me.
right.
You ain't hear me.
She said what it was.
They saw you. Oh, I didn't even know that was true. Because God is starting to change her appearance.
Yeah, I'm getting that a lot lately. You're glowing. What about listen? This right here. This is a long time coming. This is a long time coming.
Why God changes our appearance? Because he don't need everything to notice us. Somebody that might give you a headache could have been riding down that same street, right? God done changed your appearance, so they don't even notice you. They can't get out of the car and stop. Or it's certain things that God protects us from.
Absolutely.
He teaches us in the spirit how to camouflage.
Right, absolutely.
That's what's up. Let's talk about this brand a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Head to toe. I love it. Every time I see you, you repping it. You know what I'm saying? Because TRACEY has some
Got my
exclusive
socks
on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So I've been repping Guy Hill, my city, for a minute. Guy Hill, my kid. I always try to support. I support those that support me. I mean, what I mean by support ain't always a financial thing. It's like the showing up or the conversation. So I always support those that support me. So when he used to do his little pop up and not the little little pop up. When he used to pop up at 9th and Ferry, I used to pull up. Yeah, listen, you right. We got to speak. It's life of the tongue, right? So I got to speak it major. So when he used to pop up at 9th and Ferry, I used to show up and my granddaughter has some shirts. I had some shirts. Always try to rep. I always try to rep. Just make sure people know who it is, what he is. But listen, somebody said something to me today that I have a pair of slides.
Thank you.
And they said they didn't realize that my slides said daylight on my slides. When you put the 2 feet together, say daylight.
Right.
And they was like, that's cool. I said, it ain't about being cool. I'm a brand. And who gonna market me better than me?
100%.
So, Mr. Pulliam, you're head to toe, right. Guy Hill, our city. Who gonna market you better than you? You're a brand, right? So let's get into the brand.
I'm more, not just a brand. I'm more of a movement or a ministry, I would say, because the simple fact that I never made God Hill my city to produce clothes. I made God Hill my city so we can start a prayer movement in the city, or God Hill Camden rather, because we walk for autism, we walk for lupus, we walk for sarcoidosis, we walk for cancer. But how many people is walking for prayer at that time? Nobody. Nobody was walking for prayer. But everybody wanted to be covered in prayer. Because we're all going through. Nobody taught you how to bereave or how to grieve properly. Nobody. Not in the church, at home, nobody. But if we can come together, he said if 2 or 3, right, got it together, touching and
agree,
that he'll be in the midst of us. So wherever God is, restoration takes place, deliverance takes place. We overcome some things. Things got to fall off of us that's been binding us all of our lives. You know, and so when prayer starts, that's what gets God moving. Faith, activating our faith, sending up those blessings to God, praying to God. And then if we can do that, if we change the mindset of the people in Camden, then we can change the environment. Until we change their mindset, we're going to continue to have this problem.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle. So God Hill Camden started as a prayer walk.
God is the only person I see changing this city. And without God, I don't think we're going to make it.
I don't know what's going on, but I know that something's wrong. And I know that lately my city has been crazy. It's like every day somebody's gone. And every time I turn around, I hear them gun sounds. Cop signs, man, we need to put the guns down. Everybody wanna be a shooter, scared to fight, so they take a life, ain't no one-on-ones now.
Alarmingly, Camden's murder rate has more than doubled this year compared to last, from 12 to 25, apparently putting the beleaguered city on track to match or beat its record, 67 homicides.
Right now, I'm speaking life over it, God. I plead the blood of Jesus right now, God. I plead the blood of Jesus right now, God, to take over the city of Camden, God, to take over the mindset of the people, God. Forgive us for every time we cursed you, God. Forgive us for every time we denied you, God. Forgive us for every time we walked away from your church, God. Forgive us for every time we was doubting you, God. God, I'm asking you that we decrease, God. That your spirit increase, God. Father, on the day of Pentecost, God, Lord, everybody was in one place, God. They were touching and agreeing, God. And your spirit began to reign over the people, God. And you begin to move the people, God. I'm asking you right now, God. I'm asking you in the name of Jesus, God.
And I wanted that prayer walk to go across the world. And no, I haven't reached every city or every country yet.
Right.
But I guarantee people from almost every city and country saw it.
Right.
Like this.
Yeah. Walking down the street, see the cars. We're on the wood. Training the cars. It's crazy, right? You got young boys training cows. Walking down the street. Look at the buses.
By just, you know, the platforms.
Right.
You know, I do my short videos. One video got like 300,000 views.
Yeah.
And all I was doing was talking about multiple myeloma because my mom not only had, you know, she was on dialysis, but she had multiple myeloma. And multiple myeloma is a cancer in the bone. And but I understand also, and please let me say this, cancer can be healed. But you have to be obedient as a person. You have to take care of your body as a person. Anything in life can be healed. The doctors will give us reports and say, well, you know, this person got 1 hour to live. My aunt, Linda Barnes, right? She had cancer in her brain all throughout her body. The doctor told us that she had 1 hour to live. And everybody went up to the hospital in Cooper Hospital in ICU but me. Because God didn't tell me to go yet. Because if she got 1 hour to live, then we got to prove God right. Because if God didn't say it, why am I listening to just a doctor?
Right.
One thing about doctors, none of them teach you how to eat from the fruit or the lamb to be healed. They only prescribe medicine. But the power in that medicine has to come from a plant. But they never teach us that, right? So later that night, I end up going up there. It's about 30 to 40 people in the hospital, in ICU. She got 1 hour to live. Everybody want to see her. You know how it is.
Right.
I get there. I made some people leave that was like laughing and joking around. Like, because this is not a time or place where you should be just laughing and carrying on.
Right.
If somebody got 1 hour to live, we need to be in the midst of that person, lifting that person up until the very last second. And I made everybody grab hands, right? And this is the ICU, so you know you have to be quiet, but that's not how I pray. So I began to pray loud, and I wanted my aunt to feel the prayer. Because if God said we can speak to dry bones, if God said we can cause the dead to live, if God said all these things, because everything that God brought to life, he spoke to. So I began to speak to her body. And mind you, she couldn't breathe on her own. She couldn't sit up. She couldn't move on her own. But after moments of praying, I see a tear come from her eye. That lets me know that she hears me. And I'm praying, God, you know, because I have all my faith in this moment. in God right now.
Right.
There's nothing causing me to waver. There's nothing causing me to doubt. Because faith come by hearing, but doubt also come by hearing. So when I was praying, people couldn't even stand up. And it's nothing that I did. It's the power of God and his presence was in that place. Because a lot of people don't spend time with God. So the presence and the glory of God is not felt in their lives until somebody bring it to them.
Right.
That was Sunday. Monday came. It was like, yo, Haas, everybody. I met my aunt at Pathmark. Shout out to Pathmark. I miss y'all.
We all do.
Yeah, facts.
Monday came. I was like, yo, they talking about you at the hospital. I was like, what I do?
Right.
I ain't do nothing. Tuesday came. They said, Haas, she's starting to move.
Oh, wow.
Oh, y'all missing a miracle. Wednesday came. They said, Haas, she doing so good that she's starting to eat and breathe her own. Thursday came. They said, Haas, she doing so good. She in her own room. Y'all still missing a miracle. Friday came. She walked out of the hospital. Y'all still missing a miracle. She had 1 hour to live.
Right.
We just went through a
Whole
week of her still
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So what happened to that doctor report? God said, no, y'all got to believe what I tell y'all. Because no man knows the day nor the hour.
That part.
Because no matter if she was on a machine or not, if God don't want you to live, he'll take you even on that machine. That woman lived 60 days after the doctor said she had 1 hour to live.
Wow.
And we ain't got to go into the details why it didn't extend.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if we are obedient to God, if we are in line with God, God can cause miracles to happen. And that's the problem. A lot of us, when we get healed, we don't stay in that process of being totally healed. We get healed and then go right back to the same thing that caused the damage.
Yep, that part.
And that can be a person, that can be family, that can be a sickness in your body. If my family is causing my illness, I have to remove myself. And people don't get that part. Yeah, you can love your family, but you can be so far away because God needs time with you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to the place where God healed you 100%, you can go back and start healing the people that caused the damage.
Right.
And we don't get that. Nobody tell us like, no, you got to stay away for a little bit.
Right.
It was crazy because when you said God needs time by yourself, and you know, such a can confirm this. When I do my speaking engagements and my workshops, I tell people all the time, my son died so I can learn how to live.
Right.
And the reason why I say that is because I believe I wasn't walking in my purpose and I wasn't obedient to God. So God removed 3 men that I kind of not idolized, but I put a lot of stake in, which was my son, my father, and at the time my husband. God removed all of them. He removed my son, my father, and my divorce imminently happened shortly thereafter. So my thing is, people say, why would you say that? I said, because God needed me to put the focus on him.
Of course.
He wanted me to take the focus off of man and put focus on him. Now, I'm not saying that because, you know, God ain't mean-spirited.
Right.
But what I do know is he will sit you by yourself, sit you down, and make you realize who he is and what his power is, right? So when I used to say it, when I first used to say it, everybody's like, yo, what? Like, why you, what? And I'm like, hear me out, hear me out. And I'm not saying God purposely, my dad died. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is God wanted my focus to be on him. And he knew as long as I was distracted by other things, I couldn't focus on him. So he removed them things. Not only just them, some friendships, some relationships. He moved some things. He moved a lot of things, a job, a whole career. Because I turned my gun in and walked away. You know what I'm saying? A whole career. I had 5 years left. I walked away. God removed all of that. And he said, listen, have faith. Just trust in me. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
And the crazy thing you say that is because whatever we put before God, we worship. And he tells us not to worship no other gods before him because he's a jealous God. And no, God doesn't tempt us with evil. But sometimes God will remove his covering when you worship something more than him. It's not the fact that, all this bad happened, so God must have did it. God doesn't tempt us with evil. God doesn't destroy us. I mean, if God wanted to speak right now, we'd all be gone.
Right.
He don't have to use violence to take us away. And that's where people get it misconstrued. Like, God don't have to use violence to take us away. God can say just that, and we're gone. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you got to get by yourself. You know why? Because you would have never had the time.
Right, because and that was it. It wasn't that it was the worship part of it. It was the fact that I was busy, and I was too busy for, right? Too busy to handle, too busy to understand, too busy to read, too busy to relate, and too busy to honor. Right? I was busy. So when when I had time, because I had time, had a lot of time. I still got time. You figure it out. So now my life looks different, right? My blessings are different. I look different. I feel different. I'm responding different. I'm reacting different. Life is different. But I get it now. And it took a minute. I ain't going to hold you. We're talking almost 10 years till I figured it out. You know what I mean? But I get it. You know, and that's just it. At some point, you got to sit still and get it. You know, we all got to sit still and get it because life is busy. Life happens. And we all want to think we too busy to handle our business. But guess what? If you don't handle your business will definitely handle you. That's it. That's all.
I heard the saying, eat food like it's medicine, or you'll be eating medicine like it's
food. You know, and that's what I tell people all the time in my workshops. I tell them, I said, you know, you gotta change everything you do, the way you think, the way you eat, the way you wake up, the way you go to sleep, and the reason why I said the way you wake up and go to sleep, I turn over to them when I put my feet to the floor, before I lift my head, I say, I hit him up. Because there was a bunch of people that wasn't on that list this morning. And for whatever reason, I'm up and I want to just give thanks. But while I'm giving thanks for me waking up, thank you for waking up my kids. I appreciate you.
Their alarm clock went off, though.
Right.
Their alarm clock went off. That don't mean listen.
Yeah.
Never woke up.
Yeah. So, you know, I always, so in the kids, and when I do my workshops at the kids, because I'm at Mastery right now, I do a workshop, they say, so every morning when these feet touch that floor, oh, I pray. I pray. I start my day off. And I gave him a little glimpse of what my words is like. I said, listen, God is a friend. Talk to God like you talk to your friend. It ain't heavy. Right. It ain't hard. Just say, listen, hey, bruh. Appreciate you. Thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you for having grace and mercy on me. And for me, while you're still being merciful to me, please cover them babies of mine. Keep them covered. Walk with them. You know what I mean? So it's crazy because, you know, although we're supposed to separate church and state, when I do my workshops in teen mental health for the kids, I kind of tell them that's how I start my day. And, you know, I talk about journaling and stuff. But I told them, I said, I definitely pray.
Separating church from state is what caused Columbine.
Yeah.
Shootings in the schools. I remember we used to hear Martin Luther King on the thing, and we used to hear prayer on the thing. Y'all took God out of the schools, so the devil has to be in it. And y'all don't realize that most of our schools, now all of our kids have an issue. How 90% of the kids have issues. They came from us. Is it an issue, or is something that we should have taught them?
Right.
That would have changed who they are today. Because the thing, like, again, when the stuff that you learn at home is very important.
Right.
Because you spend too much time outside of the house. And that's why you hear our parents say, oh, y'all love the streets. Y'all love the streets. Well, if we learned what love was at home, our love wouldn't be so out in the streets. We wouldn't look up to those people out in the streets if you let dad stay home.
Right.
You know, like look, and I'm not picking on moms or anything.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, the other day I asked like 30 kids. I say, listen, raise your hand if you live at home with your mom. Everybody raised their hand. Raise your hand if you live at home with your dad. 3 of them.
But you know what's crazy, and I'm just going, and after this we're going to kind of bring it in and wrap it up. But when we grew up, and we're not much older than you, but when we grew up, I kid you not, I had 5 friends. Every single solitary one of them came from a dual parent household. All 5 of my friends. Now, they were my close friends.
Right.
My friends in school, everybody had dual parent households. And it's crazy, in just that short bit of time, from 78 to 85, what happened?
You gotta step that.
I'm like, and it was crazy. It was crazy because I told somebody, and I told somebody, I said, listen, Like all my friends had dual parent households.
No, that's true.
So this is somebody now. I didn't go to school with this person, but I'm friends with this person now as an adult. And I was like, when growing up, all my friends had dual parent households. They was like, what? Yeah. But I lived in Camden. I lived on the 900 block of Morton, which is technically Centerville. He lived on the 900 block of Thurman. Like our whole block was dual parent households, families. So I'm like, what happened? Like what? How are you like
that disconnect come from?
Yeah. So let's talk about that Centerville thing, because John Royal, shout out to John Royal,
shout out to Johnny, my boy,
Ernie Carter, God rest his soul. They always teased us. That's where SB came from, Suburban Boys, because they said we was the suburban section of Centerville, because we all lived in houses. And people was like, I didn't know Trace was from Centerville. JD says she sure enough is. She just lived down
over there.
Over there.
We go over there.
That good part.
We can take their stuff bags and bikes.
Yo, my brother used to always get his bike stolen by Reggie and Fess and them. I swear. Troy used to get, my brother had a late growth spurt. He was a short guy for a long time. Because my sister was even taller than him. He had a late short. But Reggie and Fess used to give him all these. My mom's like, don't go that way. Go that way. Don't go to the projects.
That's funny.
You brought up something about the difference between like the projects and shared apartments, and we talk about fathers being in the home and being outside of the home. Now, a project in school, they call it an experiment.
Yeah.
So, with the projects, which is an experiment, they took the fathers out, put welfare, Section 8, put all them things in. But guess what? The dad couldn't live there, because if he lived there, you're not getting
the money.
So and then they made the parents believe that they needed Section 8, they needed
food stamps, welfare. Yep.
Like I grew up in Centerville all my life. I never knew I could live out Mount Laurel. My wife like, well, let's move to Mount Laurel. I can't afford to live out Mount Laurel. But now I've been out there for 8 years.
Right.
Walked away from my job where all my income came from. And I'm like, well, I don't make $12,000, $10,000 a month now, so we gotta do something.
Yeah, right.
If I was back, and then now it creates problems, because now it's like if I was living in Centerville, I wouldn't have to worry about this rent. I wouldn't have to worry. But at the end of the day, God is like, no, I'm your provider. You lost the money, but you didn't lose your house, your cars, your family. I'm still keeping it.
Right.
And that's the difference. To break that cycle and that mindset that you can live wherever God wants you to go. And that's the problem. We don't
for y'all, because guess what's around up in 1417? G-O-D, and that's what we doing. That's it, that's all. Listen, that's all. And here, listen, my cousin will tell you, that's how I come. And this ain't for the show, it ain't for you. He will tell you, and anybody that watch any episode of Birdcage, I hit them with the God's plan all the time. God's plan for God's people, because this is what it is for me. And this is the walk, this is where I'm at right now.
This is a lifestyle. It's different.
Because I done been to the bottom. And when you at the bottom, it's only one place you can look. And who up there? My faith, that me believe that he up there, right? And that's where I'm going. So that's it, that's all, yup.
Look up to the hills from whence come your help.
That's that part right there.
And it's a lifestyle, and that's what makes the difference in your relationship. When it's your lifestyle, your relationship gets better. When it's all right, say for instance, how can I put it? I want to sacrifice my body, or consecrate my body. So I'm going on a fast. It's a difference than just not eating. Then not eating, reading my word, staying in the presence of God, separating myself from the things that tempt me. It's a difference.
But I know why y'all fast.
And fasting is two different things.
I know why y'all, I'm not saying y'all, because I do believe in God, but I know why people of faith fast, because when you hungry, you pray a whole lot. Those first 2 days, when you like Jesus, I'm just saying, give me the strength. Just give me. You get this when you ain't no coffee, you get the shake. Jesus, I'm just asking you to be my caffeine for the day.
Hey Trey, this is no lie. I was so hungry one day walking from Morgan Village by myself. It was pouring down raining. and I was hungry. I know my mom, I don't know if she was going to be in AC that day. I ain't had no money. I'm like, God, just let me find $1 so I can buy some Chinese stir fries. You know,
coming a little bag.
Man, I was walking. I'm coming down 10th Street. Man, I saw a wet doll on the floor. I'm telling you, and I was praying back then, and he was
Listen.
answering. I just didn't understand.
Right,
But
right,
So
right.
I'm telling you, Seth.
And I was hungry. Made sure I got some fries.
Research the Daniel fast. I'm telling
The
you.
Daniel fast is the best thing you
You,
can
I'm telling you, research the Daniel fast
It'll
because
change your whole
you
appearance.
and you'll lose a little weight, but you'll get a relationship with the Lord.
right,
and I'm for real. I'm not making fun, but I'm just saying for real. I understand what fasting does because
Laughter like
listen,
medicine. That's
Yeah, definitely.
listen, because you definitely get into prayer mode. You drops down on your knees. I'm gonna make
You smell
it.
different.
Yeah.
You hear different.
Right.
And that's what people don't understand. Your body begins to change. It begins to depend on your senses. Because when you don't eat, you smell like somebody cooking bacon. You smell it.
Right.
You can hear certain things that you normally wouldn't hear when you consecrate your body. And that's why we got to take care of our body so our body can take care of us at the end of the day.
So what's your future plans, Mr. Pulliam? Where we at with it?
So right now, my future plans is I really want to travel the world, and I really want to minister across the world. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I know God can allow it to happen. But also, I really want to. I want to be wealthy enough to take care of Camden more than what I see. I see too many kids without. I ain't even talking about the adults. I'm just talking about kids just walking around without. And I believe as a people, we can really cater to our kids. I believe if we really go into the homes and talk to the moms and talk to the dads, we can really, really change families. We can really change, man, back in the day it was a bond. What happened to that bond? Nobody got a bond. You only cool with who you cool with. You know what I mean? But if we had a bond where I can call, you know, like my mom again, she was Roosevelt Manor.
Right.
Then you had Miss Angie and them. They was Westfield Acres. But they can call on different part of Camden and come together and have something big for our kids.
Right.
Everybody want to be separate because they want it to be them. God Heal My City is not about me.
Talked about last year. We talked about
God
that last
Heal My
week.
City is not about me. It didn't start with me. It started before me,
Right.
but God just allowed me to birth it. But if my mom never did what she did, I wouldn't never be doing what I'm doing now.
Gotcha.
So, when I say it's not me, it's what came before me, and it's what's going to come after me. So I put it inside my kids because I need them to understand you have to take care of the people. I don't care. Like, people keep asking, why you keep them out of Camden? Why you keep selling in Camden? Because it's something there for me.
Right.
This is what I get joy out of.
Right.
So I definitely want to be a person that, you know, continue to give, but give on a bigger platform. You know what I mean? Like, I send stuff to Jamaica. I send stuff, like I was giving stuff to Africa. But I want to be able to do it all the time. And I know I don't have the finances, so I go on Facebook at any moment and say, hey, I got a kid that wear a 12 and a half pair of sneaks. Do anybody have a 12 and a half pair of sneaks? Or I don't got a problem with asking them.
Right.
Because maybe I'm the resource to get it to them.
Right.
If I just ask the world, I really don't have a problem now. Before, I wouldn't ask nobody. But it came a time where I'm like, if I'm praying for everybody else and I never ask nobody to pray for me, how am I getting filled?
Right.
How like, I remember a time, every time I answered my phone, it was somebody's mom saying, can you preach at my son's funeral? And I became weary. And nobody knew that I was sinking because I was like, I'm trying to be there for everybody else. But
Right.
I'm not being filled anymore. I don't have those leaders that's coming to me and speaking a word over my life because I'm doing all the speaking.
Right.
You have to be filled up by somewhere. You have to be around like-minded people that's going to uplift you, that's going to encourage you, that's going to propel you, that's not going to hate because of what you got or what happened. No, they're going to propel you, and that's the way the ball can continue to roll. But if you're not around people, like, I'll be by myself.
Right. Right.
Best place you can be. Any quick shout outs?
I just want to give a major shout out to God. I want to give a shout out to my wife and my kids. I want to give a shout out to Bird and Tracy. I want to give a shout out to everybody I encountered in life that allowed me to love on them, and everybody that I prayed for, everybody across the world. I give a shout out to you just for tuning in right now. All the followers, share this 100 times because we want this seed of love to be planted into somebody else. I want this podcast to be one of the greatest podcasts in the world because we're doing something greater than who we are. We never knew what God can do with us until we start walking with him. So, yeah, that's it.
That's what's
Just
up.
Be blessed, y'all.
Real quick, let them know where they can find you and God Help My City and all that good stuff.
And purchase. God Help My City, although he's out of Camden, I know across the country there's a lot of cities that are in peril right now,
indeed.
and they are in need of this. So purchase.
Instagram, God Help My City. Facebook, Pulliam. And everything is God Help My City, mainly. I took down my online, so you can call me direct.
That's what's up. Well, once again, my man, thank you. Appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, y'all were paying attention and listening. I know I was.
Yes, you was.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I tuned in. I usually run in my mouth and everything, but nah, I was
he
hearing
needed
some
that
things.
word
Yeah,
today.
yeah. Definitely got that. Because of Tracy, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. Love you. You know, there is no Birdcage without my cousin Tracy. You know what I'm saying? Got a shout out to Code Red, my Pensacola Indians. Beat Burlington Township Friday night 31-13, so we're now 3-0 on the season.
Look at that.
You know what I'm saying? We rocking and rolling. Hopefully we can continue. We got Trenton coming up next week. You know what I'm saying? So y'all not doing nothing. We'll be home 6 o'clock Thursday. It's a Thursday night game. So ain't no other games going on. So y'all might as well come on out. If you're in the area, come check us out. We're at Pensacola Thursday at 6 o'clock playing Trenton. Oh, shout out to my sister. I know this airs on Monday, but today is my sister's birthday. Oh, so shout out to my sister. Happy birthday. We all love you. You know what I'm saying?
Can you say her name, please?
I'm sorry. My sister Camilla Bird. You know what I'm saying? Happy birthday, sis. You know we love you. All right. And Cousin Tracy, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so real quick, this past week, they finally did the ribbon cutting on Whitman Park.
Oh, yeah.
So for all the inboxes, all the questions, everything you guys have been asking me, the park is officially open and should be open every day from dawn to dusk. Dawn to dusk means from about 7 in the morning to 8:30 at night. It'll be open. Your kids can go and play. Please, 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 please clean up after yourselves. Definitely. Yes, it is our park, but they put a lot of money into that park to look state of the art. Please just take care of our community, take care of our parks. It's about our kids, right? It's really about our kids and about our community. So if we know better, we can do better. So we know trash is a problem. We need to do better and pick it up. And I'm not saying if it's just because you didn't put it down there doesn't mean you shouldn't pick it up. Nah, if it's down there, pick it up. Let's keep the park clean. Thank you again. Shout out to Mayor Karstarfin, Ron Jaworski, Camden County commissioners, Al Dyer, Jeff Nash. I'm missing a few people, but we appreciate our Women Park. The park looks amazing, and we're thankful. That's that. Today, well, not today, this weekend was the home opener, not only for Camden High Panthers, but for Whitman Park Tigers. So they usually have games on Saturdays. I don't know what their schedule is, but here's the thing. We can't expect our children to want better, to do better, and to grow if we don't support. Just because you don't have no kids out there, if you're from this city, from this community, show up. Come out. It's a Saturday. Come out. If they have home games, you driving past Whitman Park, come and watch a few quarters. They're little kids. They may not know you, and that's fine. But when they look up and see that crowd and see people supporting them, it does them well, and it helps them grow as young people. So again, I always say show up, show the support, show the love. Listen, and as we're ending September, this was the end of Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month. Of course, Daylight did their thing. October 2nd is the walk at Cooper River. I will get the time and dates. I will post it on the webpage every time we air between now and October 2nd. Hopefully, if you're available, you'll come out. You'll meet us. You'll buy a T-shirt. You'll wear yellow. You'll wear green. You'll just tell me that you support Daylight and I'm all cool with it. So I'll follow up next week with the information on the walk. Hopefully I'll see you guys. And just remember, be you, be healthy, be well.
You want to say something before we got
I
out of
want
here?
to say one thing. I have one kid at Whitman Park that I'm raising money for. So if you can go to my Instagram at Guy Home My City or my TikTok, Guy Home My City, you can hit me up and I'll tell you the steps how to do that.
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up.
Hey, again, it takes a village. We're a village,
Yes,
right? This
yes,
is a
yes,
village. And it
yes.
starts here at the Birdcage
Yes.
because what we try to do is, I'm just going to end here, what we try to do is bring people around that not only from Camden, Philly, Pennsauken, Cherry Hill, to just that are doing things in our surrounding areas. So you guys will be aware on how you can show up and support.
Definitely. Oh, last episode we had Porter Rich on, his brand, you know what I'm saying? The Camden Vet shirt, you know what I'm saying? We appreciate that, you know what I'm saying? Keep doing your thing.
Oh, and I had him speak at the school.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said
Had
he
him
was
speak
right.
at the
That's
school.
right.
He
That's
spoke
right.
at Donuts
right.
with Grown-Ups, and
Okay.
they loved him. They was very entertained.
Ah, that's what's up.
He did his thing.
That's what's up.
Just explaining to parents how important it is to be part of your child's academic process, and how he went from doing his thing to being a single father
Right.
with a phone call.
Right,
You know,
right,
phone
right,
call,
right,
she
right,
gone.
right,
Hey,
right, yeah.
5-year-old is yours.
Yeah.
You need to figure it out.
Right.
So yeah, he did really well. Again,
that's
thank
what's
you,
up.
Porter Rich. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through Cooper's Point. You know, our parents were engaged.
That's definitely what's up. Well, episode 68.
In the books.
You know what I'm saying? Episode 68 in the books. And on that note, once again, I'm Sexuaya, a.k.a. Coach Bird. I'm the host of the BYRDCAGE Show, and we'll talk to you soon.
It was a stone groove, my man.